everyone. Hi everyone, this is Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop. How are you all? I've got some tarot tips. I'm doing a tarot tip video. Okay, I have here a meme and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tips on it. So let's go through them and see what we get. So the idea is I'm going to read what the tip is. I'm going to give my opinion and you can give me your opinion in the comments, okay? The actual heading of the meme is Tarot Tips, Reading for Yourself. So the first one is let go of expectations and emotions as much as possible when reading for yourself. This one I do agree with. Often when we read for ourselves, especially the people that are not experienced, often you'll either scare yourself or you'll read that the cards are negative, or you will read all the cards as positive. I see it often online where someone gets 3 bad cards and they're reading for themselves about their love life and they somehow twist it to mean that it's very, very good. And it's like, no. 3 of Swords, 10 of Swords, and 7 of Swords is not good in any way. So let go of expectations. I think when we read for ourselves, we have to allow the card to speak the way that it wants to speak and not somehow expect it to tell us what we want to hear. It's very difficult to do. So let go of expectations and emotions as much as possible, yes. So we just have to try to detach ourselves a little bit when we do readings for ourselves. Okay, so I agree with that one. The second one, number 2, is take a second to ground yourself before your reading. This will help you to trust your intuition. Well, I think you should always try to ground yourself before every reading anyway, so take a second to ground yourself before your reading. This will help you to trust and to help you to trust your intuition. Yeah, so basically with that one is if you're really scared or worried about something, it's probably not a good idea to do a reading about it, okay? So take a second to ground yourself. So if you're feeling stressed, anxious, panicking, then don't do a reading because you're just gonna find things to be more stressed, anxious, and panicked about. This will help you to trust your intuition. Yeah. So yeah, it's always good to be grounded in any reading, but especially when you're reading for yourself. Yes. Sometimes we do panic ourselves, and then we see the worst things in the cards, even if they're not there. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3. Take time when reading for yourself. Information may come slower to you than it would when reading for someone else. Again, I agree with that one too. I've had experiences when I'm doing my own readings and it's a bit slower because I'm trying to detach myself from the reading. So take time when reading for yourself. Information may come slower to you than it would when you're reading for someone else. Yes, that one I probably agree with. Sometimes when we read for someone else, when I read for someone else, I usually get the information very quickly and I look at the cards and I get the feeling of what's going on with the person very, very quickly. But when I do read for myself, it probably is a bit slower because I'm trying to, like I said, remove my personal opinion and my emotions out of the situation, okay? So that one, yeah, take time. And it might also, what could happen is you may lay out a card spread when you're doing it for yourself, and it may not seem like it's relating to your question, but if you kind of sit with it, look at it, absorb it, it probably does make sense. So that one I agree with as well. So far I agree with 3 out of 3 here. Number 4, keep an open mind. Just because it doesn't make sense right now doesn't mean it's wrong. That one I agree with as well. Sometimes when we're reading for ourselves, it may not make sense right at the moment. So yeah, so keep an open mind. Just because it doesn't make sense right now doesn't mean that it's wrong. Well, that's also true for clients as well. Like I've had many a time when I've done a reading for a client and right then and there it doesn't make sense to them. But then, 2 days later it could make sense. Like for example, I had a client, a male client. It was really interesting because I was doing the cards and I said to this client, after I was sort of halfway through the cards, through the reading, he asked me something about his health. Now, I don't usually like to do health readings for people because I think if you have a health issue, you should go to a doctor, a health professional, okay? But I had a look at the cards and I thought something to do with his eyes. And I said to him, do you have any issues with your eyes at all? And he said, no, he has pretty good eyesight, never a problem. And I said, okay, well, I was just picking up something about your eyesight. Anyway, it wasn't connecting to him, so I just left it. And I said, okay, well, that just could be something I'm not sure why that's coming through, but that's what I'm seeing. But if your eyes are great, and that's fine then, don't worry about it. Anyway, the next time he came for a reading, he told me that the next day after that reading where I told him about he may have issues with his eyesight, he said that he got a splitting headache at work and he was also seeing blurry vision. And he had to go to an eye doctor like the next few days. So what happened was at the moment when I said it to him, it didn't make sense. But then a few days later, it came to be, okay? Another one, I just thought of another one. I remember I had another male client, he was asking about moving house. And I said to him, I remember I said, you're gonna move into a house with a garden, a nice garden. And anyway, so what happened was he came back the next day and he just popped his head into my shop and he said, hey, we found a place to rent, but it doesn't have a garden. And I said, oh, okay. I said, does it have gardens near it? And he said, no, there's no gardens around. I said, I don't know. I was seeing a garden. So I said, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't know where that was coming from. Anyway, a few days after that, he came back to my shop and he said to me, guess what? The place that he was applying for that he thought he was going to get with no garden actually fell through. And he had an issue with his flatmate. Okay, so the flatmate, it didn't work out with the flatmate. And what happened was he ended up having to look for another place, and the place that he actually signed up for had a garden. So again, sometimes things don't make sense in that moment or even the next 24 hours, but later on they make sense. So going back to the point here, keep an open mind. Just because it doesn't make sense right now doesn't mean it's wrong. That one I agree with as well. Okay. Okay, so we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're up to number 5. Pretend that you're reading for someone else. What would you tell them? Now, this one I highly recommend. When I do a reading for myself, I often pretend I'm reading for a friend. So when I do the spread, I actually act out what I would say if I was reading for a friend or a client. Again, it's because I want to remove my personal opinion and feelings from the situation when it's a reading about myself. So that one I 100% agree with. So pretend you're not reading for yourself. Read for someone like you would read for someone else, and what would you tell them? Absolutely, that one. So let me say that again. Pretend you're reading for someone else. What would you tell them? So that one, yeah, that one's a very good one. I actually teach that to my students when I'm doing a class. I actually tell them, if you do want to read for yourself, pretend you're not reading for yourself and just get the vibe of what you would say to someone else. Remove your personal feelings out of the situation. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6, focus more on the traditional meaning of the cards when reading for yourself. What do you think What you think is intuition may just be expectation. Again, I agree with this one too. Focus more on the traditional meanings. When I read for myself, I often read the meanings of the cards as well out of the book, or if you have, like I have some cards that actually have the meanings on them. Even though I know the meanings because I'm a tarot teacher, I will often again read the meanings, so I want to remove my personal interpretation and just read the card meanings to get the full impact of what it's telling me. Okay, so that one I agree with as well. So far I've agreed with all of these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 6 I agree with. So very good. So focus more on the traditional meaning of the cards when reading for yourself. What you think is intuition may be expectation. Okay, so everyone that posts all those questions about how he feels about you and how she feels about you, might be good if you read the actual meaning of the cards to get the answer, not your own interpretation. Okay, last one. Journal your reading to help you make sense of the cards and keep track of your readings. Yes, I recommend that one as well. So that's actually, I agree with all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I agree with the whole 7 of them. Journaling is good, like writing notes or a journal is a good idea because you get to keep it as a record and you can learn from it, and you can sometimes see the progress of your readings as well. So I recommend that one as well. So very good. So I agree with this meme. It's an excellent meme. Well done to the person that created it. And I'll leave this video here. I just wanted to make a short video. This is Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop.